Allison, and I just had the shamanic
journey
healing
at Holistic Vitality.
At Holistic Vitality,
yeah.
By Nicolle herself.
So you just got out of your session, and today was a wild ride.
Yes.
So I guess let's start from as early as you can remember in the session.
I just love the part about throwing everything into the trash can. That's how it always starts for me, is getting rid of everything. And then basically connecting to my past, my ancestry, my life before this life, and how it ties into the way that I feel now. So,
actually, let's start there. What did you come in here feeling like? You've already done one session before, but just even today.
I felt really spiritually disconnected from myself when I think that I was born a really spiritual child and person, and through illness and just my life, I've completely disconnected somewhere for some reason. And
how's that affected you physically, emotionally, mentally? Like,
I think that it's tied into, I think I burden and holds in a lot of pain and guilt from my past, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm physically ill, and I have major depression issues and stuff like that I'm working through.
Okay. So we then connected you to maybe explore what may predate just your childhood memories of what might have contributed to perhaps any underlying feelings or illness and what have you. So we kind of wanted to go pretty far back. So what do you recall of that and how it played into your actual life with different individuals?
Well, this current life, I started, I think, having anxiety at 4 from the first time that I was hospitalized and treated for my bladder condition. And I think I lost a lot of trust and connection to my parents at that time. And it just continued until now as an adult.
So now revisiting that, how do you think that helped now, and what
I think revisiting it was really healthy, because I got to replay what I would have was an ideal situation for me that would have helped me at least get through that and not be so traumatized by the experience that I completely just disconnect at that time.
So describe kind of what that was that helped you to make that transition. Like, what did that memory need to transition itself to be more positive for you?
I just needed reassurance. I needed comfort.
And who did you need those things from?
From my parents, to actually tell me that it's okay and to not be afraid, and that this wasn't something that I did, and that I created, or instead I felt, like it was a secret. They took me there, didn't tell me what to expect, and it ended up being, a surprise and a shocker, and I felt guilty about it.
Okay. And then going now further back, so to maybe we revisited the womb and all that. How do you think that helped you?
That helped me a lot, kind of actually understand my mother and what she was going through when she was pregnant with me.
And do you think you were internalizing what
she
was going
grieving death of her sister, and I think that I internalized that and have always kind of, somehow that's been another burden of mine, is my mother's pain.
And wearing that.
And trying to heal her.
And we also revisited a past life with her.
Yeah, where she was actually my daughter. And I protected her from savages coming into our Native American village, and I protected her, and inevitably we ended up having a happy, fine life together.
But you've also said that kind of carried over into your actual life, where you felt...
I feel very protective of her. I feel like she has been a mother, not a mother, but something else to me. And I feel like I am, very protective of her, and I just am always wanting to be with her and take care of her and
and it's like motherly in you.
Save her.
Now, we also revisited some other past lives, not only of who you are, but again connecting to some of the soul contracts with certain individuals in your life that have been impactful. Which ones would you like to revisit that you feel like was the most impactful today for you?
I think was the first one, just who I was in a past life and maybe why I feel the way I do. And I was a Native American, a young Native American woman who was the only survivor of a fire of some sort, and perhaps set by settlers, or I don't know. And I was the only survivor, and I carried a lot of guilt, and I was alone, and I was a warrior just by myself, and I ended up dying of illness, and I think that's why I'm such a survivor, and why
but also perhaps explains why you've also expressed how you maybe feel like alone, or even
I feel alone,
the illness and stuff.
I suffer alone, and that's what's comfortable for me, and I've always wondered why I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's because that's just what I know from my past, is just surviving and not having an army behind me, for some reason just being a lone survivor.
Yeah. What about any other... I mean, we explored a lot today, so we may or may not have to touch base on all of them, but what other ones really stood out to you or may have shocked you?
I guess my connection with my father, who it was coming to me that he's been kind of a tyrant in my past. Maybe a lot of my past, and that we are definitely connected, but it was never in a positive way. And I was always afraid of him, and scared he was going to kill me. And I think in the one, he actually did kill me.
In your past life?
One of my past lives, I was just a child, and he killed me. I wasn't his child, but he was, once again, like, a soldier or somebody powerful that I couldn't fight against. And
didn't you describe it when you were channeling that that you felt it was like the Holocaust, right?
Yeah, it was like during the Holocaust, and maybe I was a little Jewish girl, and I just once again was by myself without my family, surviving, and he found me hiding, and we came face to face, and it was almost like he recognized me and I recognized him. But it was in the midst of right before I was gonna die. So maybe I've held on to a lot of resentment from my past. And now that he's my father, I haven't known how to get rid of that or understand
those feelings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And do you think that, what do you think experiencing that as a past life has that made any shifts on how you feel about it now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely puts a lot of understanding to why I feel that way, and maybe why he is the way he is. But it makes me realize that we do have a soul contract, as you would say, and I'm just happy I understand it. And now, you know, I got to reverse my memory once again and give him light and, you know, hope that things can get better.
Like if you were to incarnate again together kind of thing.
If we were going to incarnate together, right. That I'm basically getting rid of the past and moving on with the new, and that's probably the best thing I can do for my future soul.
The other thing that I thought was also interesting is when we connected me and you together as to what brought you, I guess, along my path.
Right.
Or me along yours. So we explored that past life and perhaps the energies of not only who I guess I am, but versus our connection to each other. So explain a little bit of that.
Yeah, I saw each other, Nicolle and I, as, back, I don't know what era that is that I'm trying to think of.
The Pilgrims?
Yeah, we were like pilgrims or
maybe like
nuns or something like that, but we were very religious and we were wearing, you know, the full getup with the crosses. And, but we had a secret, and it was like witchery, and we were thought of as witches. We were practicing witchcraft together. But it was not like harmful. It was just exciting, and we were just experimenting this whole new realm that for some reason we were finding. Yeah. And we ended up getting kicked out of the nunnery or whatever it was that we were involved in, the religious cults that we were involved in. And we were not burned at the stake, but we did continue to secretly practice this spiritual
world
magic that was unacceptable at the time.
Which is what we were talking about earlier, is that we found interesting is that mine and Allison's connection, we kind of just, connected through Bobby. Mm-hmm. But surprisingly, because Bobby's known you his whole life, we only now connected in this last year.
Mm-hmm. And it's always felt like we've definitely known each other forever. And I know you get that feeling from people sometimes, but I've always known that, and especially now coming into my life at such a proper time where I really needed guidance, and I wasn't getting it from anywhere, and it's because I needed spiritual guidance, not medication and therapy per se. So Nicolle came into my life and basically has been able to be my guide. She's now the voice in my head, and she's definitely been the one who understands me without having to say much, and is bringing this person out of me again that I've lost. So it's really exciting.
But yeah, and it's really kind of interesting how I was drawn to you and offer to sponsor your healings, because there was this kind of unknowing that we're supposed to work together in some factors. So that's kind of had its own little
and I think I just I have always kind of known that I needed somebody like Nicolle to help me remember who I am. And that's exactly what she's done. And I think there's a connection with us. I think that we're supposed to work together, because every time we are together, we have an amazing spiritual experience, and it's really I think powerful.
Eye-opening for the both of us.
Eye-opening for the both of us. It ends up being, you know, a session for both of us.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because you got to connect to, which is very interesting what you channeled, because it's very similar to a couple other people that have channeled the same thing, but I kind of wanted it from your perspective of how you describe it, because when we said to have you look down and see, I guess, the essence of my being, what did you get out of that?
I just pictured myself, which was like really lacking energy and light, and I saw you as this big ball of light, and then once the light cleared, you were an old, elderly woman with long silver hair, maybe, you know, an Eskimo or something like that, an Eskimo woman, but you were a healer, a medicine woman, and you were very powerful. You had energy to heal, and it was almost, yeah, like a motherly energy that you were giving, and you had a very round face. So that's why I say Eskimo, but that could mean, you know, many different cultures.
Yeah.
So. But you're a wise woman beyond, you know, beyond your years. Definitely an old soul. And
what did you say about the path that you saw that was for this lifetime, like my role?
I felt like your role has always been your role, but to be a healer in every life. And this time I think that your role is to create your family and a child, and to pass it on so that you can move on to a higher evolved realm, the next realm.
Yeah.
And I felt like in your past, you, like I said, have always been a healer, but you've never created, you never gave birth, you never had another, you know, a husband. And so this life is you incorporating those things and teaching and passing on, you know, your healing in that
to the next generation.
Yeah, to the next generation.
Yeah, so I found that to be very, very fascinating, because it sounds, very similar to what other people have described in their channelings. Like the Guardian of the Galaxy kept getting thrown in theirs. So I don't know. Did you say you got that or not? That you thought the same thing, kind of, or no?
I didn't picture it like that, but that's how I see it, is like you are going to evolve into something that is even deeper, that I can't explain, but, you know, like a guide of, a guardian of all of the, you know,
inhabitants,
healers, and a guide from above, instead of being here as a healer, doing work. And so I think your soul is just changing.
Yeah, and so I find that interesting, because my mom's always also said the old soul. And then the same thing you kind of mentioned earlier too with your old soul.
Right.
Yeah. So
when you're here this time as, you know, like a young woman, whereas I think in the past you've been more of a wise old woman. And so that's why I think your purpose is different now, because you're younger and you've touched in on your spirituality sooner, because you've had practice, and now it's time for you to spread that to Aspen, or, you know,
other healers.
Yeah.
Fascinating. This is awesome, a session today. I had fun with this one.
Me too. This was fun.
And I guess before we end, how are you feeling right now? Like,
I feel really good. I feel weightless. I feel like I felt a lot of physical pain and emotional pain working through what we did today, but I feel better. I don't feel any pain, and I almost feel like naturally high, if you would say. Like I am just like vibrating very hard. I don't know. It's just this natural feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited what else we're going to explore together.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.